y'all, and welcome to today's video. I'm very excited because I have kind of shopped my stash. I went through my palette collection. I have pulled out 10 palettes, some of them kind of new-ish, some of them pretty old, some of them discontinued, but we are going to go through these palettes and we are going to talk about if I lost these palettes, would I buy them again? Or if these palettes were released today, like right now, if these were a new release, would I buy these palettes? Would I be interested in them? And we're just gonna kind of go through, kind of like little mini reviews of the palettes, my thoughts. We're gonna show some love to some older makeup. And if you are new here, hey, my name is Heather and makeup makes me happy. Here at my channel, we don't try to be perfect. We just wanna have a good time with our makeup, whatever that means. Shimmer, glitter, testing new palettes, reviewing old palettes, we are here for it. So if that sounds good to you, I do hope that you will subscribe before you leave today, because I upload lots of new videos every single week. And today's video is actually a collab with Dolly Mama Beauty. This is actually her video idea. I have done this once before, and of course I gave credit to her. This is a great idea, and I love that she came up with this way to show some love to some older palettes and also maybe kind of review things after they've been in my collection. Some of these palettes for years, so maybe it will encourage you to show some of your old palettes some love, or maybe it's a palette that's still around that you've been considering. I just thought this was such a great idea, so when she reached out to me to collab, I was super excited, super busy, but we have filmed today. We are making it work. I can't wait to see the palette she pulls and what she thinks. I will have her channel linked down below, so do make sure you go and check her out. But I have 10 palettes here in front of me. I cannot wait. Once again, thank you to Dolly Mama Beauty for asking me to collab. I'm excited. Let's jump into it. Okay, let's start with this one right here. This palette, I don't even know what to say. I don't know why I bought it in the first place. I kind of do though. It's the NYX Tetris palette. I kind of roasted this palette in my judging new makeup videos that I do, and I'm like, why is it so big? There's no reason for this palette to be this large, but I bought the NYX Sabrina collab. The Sabrina Netflix show collabed with NYX. They made an amazing palette, and that launch had come before this one. It was one of my favorite palettes of the year. It was so amazing, and I was like, you know what? If these shadows are the same quality as the NYX Sabrina, and I miss out, like, I am going to kick myself for it. So this palette had launched from NYX. It went on sale. I had an Ulta coupon, and I was like, you know what? What if? It was like the possibility. What if it's that great NYX formula? And it's not. It's not a bad formula. Like, this is a good palette. I'm not saying it's not a good palette. The formulas are good. They're fine. But it wasn't that amazing formula that I had in my mind and that I have in my Sabrina palette. I have that one over there on my shelf. I love it. It's beautiful. It's amazing. This, not so much. It's just good. It's not great. It's excessive, and I don't mind a color story that's jumbled. Listen, I love chaos. I find it inspiring, motivating, but this palette is jumbled, and I feel that it's jumbled in a way that's supposed to make us think we're getting more than we are, but there are so many shades that are the exact same. This shade, this shade, this shade, for example, way too close. This shade, this shade, this shade, this shade, too close, and there's no need. Like, they could have pared this down and still made a cool Tetris palette, in my opinion. Some of the shades in here are really nice, but overall, I feel like this is just kind of a meh palette. And there were several shades in here, like this one, this one, this one, that I thought were going to be that amazing NYX Sabrina formula, and they just weren't. So if this palette launched today, I would not repurchase this. I definitely, like I said, what got into me in the first place was the fact that I was like, what if? What if it's the amazing formula from NYX that I love and I miss out and it's on sale and I have a coupon? That's what made me buy this in the first place. But if it launched right now, I definitely would not repurchase. Okay, let's talk about a palette that was sent to me in PR. This was sent to me from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the In the Dark palette. And look at this. First of all, if this launched today, I would repurchase it. This color story is right up my alley. Unearthly Cosmetics makes an amazing formula. And I'll also say, if they did not send this to me as a gift, I would have purchased it on my own. I have bought tons of products from Unearthly on my own. If I don't get it and I want it, I'll buy it myself. But this one, if I didn't get it, I would have bought it on my own. And now, today, this launched holiday last year. So this is a relatively newer palette to my collection, a relatively new palette to the market. I want to say November or December. I think December of 2021. This is beautiful. The formula is amazing. These shadows are so pigmented. You barely have to dip your brush into the mattes and you get great color payoff. I love these. I don't even want to call them shimmers. They're more like duochromes, iridescent type shades. So beautiful. I love picking them up with a fluffy brush. They apply beautifully. The color story is so me. So 100%. If this was new, I would purchase it. If I didn't have it, if some makeup maniac ran into my makeup room and took this palette from me, I would go on Unearthly's site and buy it again. Okay, here's an older palette. This palette is years old and it's not made anymore. This is actually a collab palette. This is a collab between ILUVSARAHI, who is Karen, and Dose of Colors. First of all, ILUVSARAHI is gorgeous, and when this palette launched from Dose of Colors, I had to have it. They don't make this palette anymore. If I can find a link to it, I will, but I don't think it's available anymore. If this palette launched today, I would definitely buy it, even if it wasn't a collaboration, because I like this color story. I like this peachy shade, this warm red brown. I mean, look at me. I'm wearing blues today. I love these shades. The quality of this is also amazing. This is such a good Dose of Colors formula. I love the shades in here. This is like a wet looking foiled metallic, so beautiful. You get a nice mirror, a nice palm print. If this was a new palette, if Dose of Colors released it today, I would definitely buy it, and I would buy it on launch day. Okay, let's talk about the palette that I'm wearing today. All of the makeup that I'm wearing on my face, I will link down below for y'all. And this video should already be up on my channel. I did a full get ready with me, so you can check that out if you're curious. But this is the ColourPop Malibu Barbie palette. This palette is about a year, maybe a little less than a year old. I bought this because of the nostalgia. The Barbie, the Malibu Barbie, I, as a kid, loved Barbie, had the dream house, had the Corvette, I loved Barbie. I had all the Barbies, and I had to get it when they released this palette. I love that it is mostly colorful with a few neutrals thrown in. Again, I'm wearing it today. If this launched right now, I would definitely buy it again. In fact, I'm really hoping that ColourPop does a Malibu Barbie round 2 for this summer. I think this would be so fun. I love the blues. I love the yellow. The quality in this palette is phenomenal. Without a doubt, if this were a new release, I would buy it again. Okay, let's talk about another indie brand. We talked about Unearthly, we talked about Dose. Let's talk about Blend Bunny. This is the Surge palette, and this was actually the first palette that I ever bought from Blend Bunny. I missed out on their all matte palette, the blends, but when Surge came out, I knew I had to have this. We have beautiful neon shades. We have a row of shimmers. We have deep dark mattes, mid-tone mattes, and very light mattes. I actually recently pulled this palette out and I mixed it with my collab with Adept and created a beautiful kind of blue look. I loved it. The quality of these mattes are amazing. Now in this palette, I have said the shimmers aren't my absolute favorite, but I still like them, and I really have to say I like the mattes in this palette. I think they're so nice. If this palette launched today, of course, without a question, I would buy it. If, again, that crazy makeup maniac ran into my room and took this palette from my collection, I would buy it again because it's that amazing. If you were looking for some really fun neons, some really dark matte shades, I could not recommend Blend Bunny enough. And I love shopping indie brands. Now, you may think this palette is huge, but it's really nice and compact, which I enjoy. And I mean, look at how small it is compared to the NYX Tetris palette. Like, I love Blend Bunny. I'm so excited. I know Blend Bunny has kind of said over on Instagram and Twitter that they have some new things in the works, and I'm so excited for what's to come. Alright, let's talk about this one. Last year, BH Cosmetics did a birthstone series where on the first of every month they released a birthstone palette with one shade that represented the birthstone and then a pressed glitter and 5 other shades that they felt complemented. This is the Ruby palette for July. Now, I love the BH eyeshadow formula. I think the formula in here is nice, but I was buying those palettes as a part of the series. So every month I reviewed it and I loved doing that. I thought it was so fun. But if I wasn't doing that, this color story does not call to me. Now, this palette was only $9. The quality is really nice. I think BH makes some great palettes. Not all of their palettes are great, but a lot of them are really amazing. This color story just doesn't call to me though. I don't love these kind of pinky reds with the mid-tone warm browns. It's just not my favorite type of color story. So if this launched today, I don't think I would repurchase this one. I would probably pass. Okay, the next palette I pulled is the Melt Blueprint palette. And if this launched today, I would buy it because I love Melt and I love having their palettes. I love testing their palettes. I love trying them. This color story is so nice too. The half neutral, the half blue. I love blue. Hello, look at me. I love neutrals. I love color. I don't discriminate when it comes to makeup. I think the formula in here is so nice, and I think this is such a versatile palette. Okay, I feel like I pulled a lot of palettes that I would buy again. This is the Desert Lights palette. I really enjoy this one. I did a video showing how to create an all shimmer look with this palette. I did swatches. This is beautiful. This formula from Flower Beauty, they have this and they have the Jungle Lights. I think it is like indie eyeshadow formulas. So metallic, so reflective, almost like wet looking on the lids. So beautiful. And I can't even say it's at a drugstore price point though, because these palettes are $17, but look how huge the pans are. They're so nice. They're so beautiful. I hope Flower Beauty expands on this range. Right now they just have Jungle Lights, which is more colorful. This one, which is more neutral. So I really hope they keep expanding. Every time they launch something in this formula, I'm going to buy it because I've had a great experience. I pulled another collab palette and I pulled another ColourPop palette. This is the ColourPop So Jaded with Kathleen Lights. Now, this was the first mega palette that ColourPop did in this large format. They've since expanded this, but I have to say, this is the most interesting color story of the mega palettes, in my opinion. They have done so many more mega palettes, and I've never bought another mega palette. This is the only one in my collection because this is the best color story. So I hope ColourPop will do more palettes like this. This one has some neutrals, yes, but it also has a lot of colorful shades. There's a lot of different formulas in here. There's pressed glitter, which I don't really, love the pressed glitter, but it's such a big palette, it doesn't bother me. We have the SUPERSHOCK formula, we have shimmers, metallics, mattes. I loved this color story. I think it is so fun. I love that we have the dark, like slate, metallic, black, gray color. I love that we have olive greens, warm, kind of neutrally tones, some even like little bit cooler tones. I just thought this was a well curated color story, and none of the other ColourPop mega palettes have really called to me. So I hope that ColourPop will do some more kind of fun color stories like this with their mega palettes. So I haven't purchased any more mega palettes, but if this one were to be released today, I would buy it again because I love the packaging and I love the color story. Okay, this is another relatively new palette. This is the Jolie Beauty Vampirism palette. This launched around Halloween of last year, and I love this palette. I bought this palette because the year before they had launched the Sorceress palette for their Halloween palette. I bought that and I fell in love. I thought the formula was so nice. I loved the color story. And when they started hinting that Sorceress would get a little sister, I was just on alert. I was like, yes, I can't wait to see it. So they announced this one that is, of course, like more vampire inspired, and I love it. We have multi-chromes, we have mattes, metallics. There are pressed glitters in this palette. There are 2 pressed glitters, and I did a video with this palette, I think 3 looks, and I showed how to use the pressed glitters, and I think I'm not a huge fan of pressed glitters, but the ones in this palette I do think are nice. I just think this is a fun palette. We have this beautiful fiery reds, the purples, the kind of olivey yellow grungy mustard shades, and then we have some cool tones too. So if you are like me and you like a palette that can go neutral or colorful, I think you'll really like this one. I really love Jolie Beauty. I have ordered from their site twice now. They are a UK based indie brand, I believe, and I've had a great experience shopping from their site. So if this were released today, I would definitely repurchase it, and I really hope that they have another fun Halloween inspired release coming this year. Alright y'all, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Definitely let me know. I have done this video once before. I did it about a month ago where I pulled 10 other palettes, so definitely check that out if you're interested. Make sure you go check out Deli Mama Beauty's channel. I will have her linked down below. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you had a good time, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye!